what was your call to adventure?
Yeah.
What was the defining moment that took you from just living your life before to changing it and being where you're at now?
Yeah. Right.
So what is it?
Right. So the major reason of it was when I had a spinal tumor. So I was on T11. I was told that I would never, well, more than likely never be able to run. I was going through a couple of relationship problems at the time, and that was my inspiration to start. When you're told you can't do something, often that's a spur into get moving and prove people and prove yourself, which is my major part of running, to be honest, the mental health side. Prove yourself wrong, and to keep proving yourself wrong, whether it be over a mile, whether it be over 10 miles, whether it be over 100 or 200, is to keep proving yourself wrong. Other people don't really matter, if we're honest. It's always about self, how you feel, and how you make other people feel, not what they think of you. So yeah, that was my real start into running and adventuring. I delayed having to go at jiu-jitsu until this year because of that spinal fusion. And I thought, well, if I can run 200 miles and it's still attached, then what is impossible? Is anything impossible, or is it just in our minds? So that's really what spurred me on, is that tumor, and years of not knowing what it was because they just couldn't find out what it was. It was just up every night, all night, every night. And it was just became a horrible situation. I became really grumpy, and just, to be honest, I thought that was going to be the end. My bowel and bladder started shutting down. I couldn't go to work, and everything just seemed to be coming to an end when my legs weren't working properly. And it just affects you in such a it's not a horrible way, but it's amazing how it can affect your whole life, not just the pain of the injury and things, just with your mood, and then how other people see you because you're in that mood. And disabilities are very difficult to cope with, and I don't think we give enough time or appreciation to people, just how hard they work, and to overcome these things. They're massive problems for a lot of people these days, and whether that's fighting to overcome a weight issue, whether that's a mental issue, whether it's a physical issue, people really should be complimented on their hard work, and I believe that's not happening enough in the current environment, and that's what spurred me on. I need to work harder. It was a case of I had the operation, you can't do it, and I couldn't do it. I was struggling to ride a bike with heat packs and ice packs on because the inflammation was so bad, and started trying to run, couldn't run, and I've never been able to run. So I went to the couch to 5k, tried to do that, was rubbish. I was absolutely awful, couldn't do 5k. I was out of breath, my breathing was all over the shop, and really did struggle with it. So that was my start. We've got to get better, got to work harder, and that's how I've become a bit lazy at the moment with the injury and things, but I'm not really injured. I've just listened to too many medical people who say they know what they're doing, which they probably do. It just doesn't suit my mindset. I should have just strapped it up and run. That's basically how it's going to be. I've got to get back to work. I've got to get moving again. So the strapping will be back on soon, and the shoes will be off. The shirt will probably be off, and I'll just go there. It's just how it is. So yeah, that was my whole thing. And I think if I could give anything to anyone, is believe in yourself and push yourself. Hard work, it can get you anywhere you want to go really in life, and running is why I think a lot of people relate to that, especially ultra runners. So yeah, it's been an up and down sort of story, and it's why I still think I can go further. So we did 232 in the race across Scotland. The wild horse, I got Gareth lost, and we went back to the highest peak about 3 times. So we did 234 miles in that, and but Gareth, he could go further, and I'm quite confident I can go quite a lot further as well. So how far that could be, I'm not really sure, and I'm not sure there is an event that's financially available to us which we can have a go at that at the moment. But yeah, in the future it'd be nice to see if we can go beyond that. Whether Reese fancies extending the Wild Horse 250 or Wild Horse 300, maybe that's something we can have a look at in the future. But there's a lot of people that could equally go further, I believe. So Nathan being one of them, who's a very good runner. So yeah, and Naomi and people that were on the Wild Horse with us the first time round. So and there's a guy in the race across Scotland, Scotty Hussein or Hassan, I think it was, that actually ran back. So he did the 220 miles race and then actually ran back to the start after the event, which is absolutely insane, isn't it? So yeah, so that just shows. Obviously, the way back was a lot slower, and I should imagine he made it a bit of fun, which is the other thing, is to make it all this activity fun. But yeah, he actually went back to the start, and they showed him on the actual site with him going back to the start of the event, like, which is absolutely bonkers, isn't it? So it shows what we're actually capable of, and nothing is impossible. So yeah, so that's really where this all began.
So how did you go from not really being able to do couch to 5K to then running 200 miles? Because that's like, how long did that take for a start?
I think I'm not a runner, and I mentioned before about a lot of runners don't even acknowledge me. I'll run past people and I'll wave and say good morning, and they'll blank me. Maybe because they're in their own pain curve, I don't know, or tunnel. But yeah, I don't class myself as a runner. I've got no natural gift. My form is probably all over the shop, and I don't really care, to be honest. It's that I'm happy in what I'm doing. It's about the mental side. It hurts as I do it, so that's the whole part. Running is meant to hurt, and that's why people push themselves a marathon distance and things. But it's really slowing it down, and if I could give anyone any tips on running, it would be to try to make it fun, try to make it enjoyable, whether you do that as yourself or part of a group, maybe a WhatsApp group or something, but involve other people in it. Me and Gareth, when we do the events, we bounce off each other, and we laugh and joke and take the mick out of each other and make each other feel terrible all the time. And it always comes back to a laugh and a smile. So when we arrive in every checkpoint, people are laughing and saying, how come you two are always like this? So Couch to 5K was not dissimilar, to be honest, but I was probably laughing at myself a lot of the time and thinking, what on earth are you doing? You're not a runner. You can't do this. And a lot of people would stop at that. But because I found it so difficult and so hard, that's where my mind actually goes. It's like, right, you can't do this. This is impossible. You can't do it. And that's what spurs me on every time. Same as with my spinal issue. If you can't do it, you can. It's just you're not working hard enough. And that's what it's. Most things in life are the same. And if we don't, so we can't do it, so we stop. But the reality is, we're just not working hard enough. We're not putting the work in. So I started putting the work in, doing as the Couch to 5K app advised and the online information. Started working on the breath. I think the breath is huge. Wim Hof method, Tony Riddle. There's loads of people. Gary Breckler. They've all got different breathing systems. The military way, like 4 times 4, was it box breathing? So you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and just keep going in the box system. There's so many different ways. But by using the breath on the Couch to 5K, that's what actually changed it for me, is that I was almost hyperventilating. I was breathing too fast. I wasn't controlling my breath. And that's what was making my heart rate go up. And by really slowing the whole process down and analysing it, that's when I realised that, yeah, it's not that you're a rubbish runner as such. It's just you're not working your body as it needs to work. The body, it requires oxygen, it requires a cooling system, a bit like a car. So by not getting the cool air in and breathing and flushing the system, I was just overheating my body, and then, yeah, it was just all falling apart. And then my weak mind goes into the state, you're not good enough, you can't do this. And then we work ourselves up. I think there's a lot of people who are exactly the same. They'll start trying to run, and I can't do it. They'll give up or whatever. They'll chuck the trainers in the cupboard. I'm almost the opposite, in that if I can't do it, I got to try harder. And that's how we just sort of progress from there. So that was the Couch to 5K. And then it went to, I sadly lost my sister. So real heartbreaking time, and really hard for the family. And it was with cardiomyopathy. And the Caerphilly 10K came about. And a friend of mine just winded me up and said that, I'd smash you in that. I'd been running around Boot Park. I've been training on the treadmill and everything. Is that how it goes, is it? So he was training all flat and working on pace. So, right, okay. So I literally had 3 weeks to get ready. So, right, okay, signed up. So I took to the hills, the ultra way, really. So went up in the mountains and things, and really slow, sort of hiked my way up, trying to work on the sort of Couch to 5K basics, sort of hiking my way up, and then get to the top, start running again, and really just using that system. And felt pretty good, to be honest. I felt pretty fresh going round, came to the actual event, and he flew off. Absolutely blew me off the line. And I'm thinking, I'm in trouble here. I think we put a wager on it, a couple of quid or a drink or something. And got to by Lansbury Park going up, and there's a slight gradient. So, there he is, look. So, Goggins I'm a massive Goggins fan, and I think slightly different to him, but I love his systems and I love his sort of outlook, and his mindset is just brutal. So if you go behind someone, and there's a lot of people that measure you in these races and events, and they're looking at you thinking, I can take him. And you should never judge a book by its cover. You should never do it. There's some people who are just a different shape, but they're extremely good athletes, and they're absolute savages. But I pulled up alongside him. Oh, how are you doing? Like, where'd you come from? Like, just sort of breathed in his ear, sort of thing. We had a bit of banter, and off I went, and just left him. And he was like, flipping, that hill killed me, so I beat him by a couple of minutes in the end. And the way that I found to work that was to try to latch onto someone that I knew was better than me in front, and I tried to live with them. So I tried to stick with them, and that's how I tried to sort of slowly improve on the race and got to the end. I think I did it in I think it was 44 minutes, 59 seconds. I think it was just under 45 minutes, I believe. And thought it was a good day. And he raised a bit of money for cardiomyopathy and things, which was what it was all about, in memory of my sister. And then I did the Cardiff half. Same sort of philosophy. So, like I mentioned, the math theory earlier, it was a basic version of that, really. Slowish training. When it came to the event, just try to output as much as you possibly could. And really did suffer on that Cardiff half. It was for charity, and I felt very emotional because that was, although I did the Caerphilly 10K in sort of preparation for it, that was the event that I had sort of wrote down as the event for the actual charity Cardiomyopathy UK. So felt very emotional on the way around, thinking of my sister a lot. And yeah, it was a very difficult time, but it was to show my family's strength. My niece was always been a massive part of my life, as her and other people that were affected by the illness as well. My brother-in-law, my parents, and other families involved as well with their cardiomyopathy UK and other diseases as well. It was just or illnesses. So yeah, it was just felt very emotional. I blew up at Roath Park. Have you ever done Cardiff half? Yeah, blew up totally. Just nothing left, and that's when you think, hang on a minute, just hang on, just nothing left in the tank. Everyone's clapping and shouting, and there's a absolutely tremendous atmosphere on Cardiff half. I did London this year. I put Cardiff half up the same. People say London is the best race ever. Welsh people are amazing. They get behind you. The old people were out at the homes there. They had bands on. People are clapping. They're shouting your name and everything. And yeah, it's just learning how to hang on when things get difficult. And like I say, my mind's rather weak. I quit too easy, always. And I give myself a real hard time over that. I always want to quit. So I know I messaged you last week about the podcast. I get quite apprehensive and suffer with a bit of anxiety about it, which is another reason. Mental health's a huge thing to me. So when I was in difficulty there on the race, I'm thinking, hang on a minute, just hold fire, just try to keep going. And you want to stop. Everyone, well, not everyone, but lots of people are walking. They all want to quit and this, that, and the other. You see people pulling over to the side. They're holding their hamstring. There's probably nothing wrong with it. Do you mean? It's just they're probably battered and they think they're going to. So I just carried on, slowed it down a little bit, brought the heart rate down a bit. Oh, hang on a minute now. I feel a bit better, a bit of a second wind, yeah? So off we went again, and just had this crazy sort of adrenaline kick and got to the line. And yeah, I think that was under 135 just about. And like I say, I've got no gift. I was quite a lot heavier at the time. I was probably 13 and a half stone as well. So I'm probably about 12 something now. But yeah, it's when you're carrying a bit of extra weight, it's difficult, isn't it? So big gym goer. I love the gym as well. Not that you tell, but I just love weights because it gives you a personal challenge. So finished the Cardiff half, and I just started running and trying to learn how to use running to help my mind. Really, it's a fantastic tool, and for anyone that does struggle with any situation in life, just getting out there in the wild, and whether you use a lap, for instance, and just go into your own little world, podcast on, whatever, zone out, have your own you time, or whether you're out in the woods, which is where the barefoot comes into it and things, you feel so close to nature. If you've got no shoes on, no shirt on, you can almost feel the birds landing on your shoulders. You can hear every twig crack. You feel the leaves. Like when you're a kid and you have the Play-Doh, you put your hand, you see your feet prints and things. You feet prints and next to bird sort of marks, and it's just incredible feeling, and to be in the woods and to be in the wild, in the fields. You feel the heat off the earth. You just feel so many different things, and that's why it's so good from a mental health point of view, and that's why it's so good as an escapism as well. I think that's a big thing for a lot of people these days, in that they don't know how to escape. So a lot of people may go to the doctors. First thing they do is, I think, they must be on a discount or a bonus for putting on tablets. So you'll be, oh, you need this tablet. A lot of the time you could sort of self-help by getting out there, breathing the fresh air, just escaping into a woods or into a field and feeling that energy and just taking things in, slow the breath down again and work at that. So that's really how I started, was to try to make the runs a little bit longer. I didn't know Gareth, my friend at the time that I was trying to do this. I was pushing, and some other boys in work said, why didn't you do ultramarathon? I'm not interested. Do you know a guy called David Goggins? I'm not interested. What do you mean you're not interested? I just want to go as far as I can, and I just need to go there. The separation was happening with the kid's mother and things, and family court were discriminated against me, really. Everything was going wrong. Seemed to favour, not sure it's the same for everyone, but they seemed to be favouring the mother, and it just didn't seem fair. I was just being sewn up and things and having hassle seeing the kids. So there's a number of issues going on. I was over the surgery of my spine, and I was thinking, you know what, just keep pushing yourself, see how far you can go, and that's where they just became interested and thought, you can go a lot further than you think, like. And at the time, I probably would have thought the 30-40 miles was my maximum. And then I can't remember how I came about it, but I looked at this guy Goggins and started listening to the words and everything, and you can't hurt me, and it still comes into my mind on ultra marathons and things now, when my shin cracked on the race against Scott 80 miles to go. You can't hurt me. Like, this is nothing. When I was losing my kids in family court, I actually didn't lose them, but it felt like I was going to lose seeing them and things, and you just can't hurt me. That's nothing. When you lose a loved one, or whether you're going through an illness, there's so many different things in life which are so much harder. Like, when you put yourself in the, it's only a little bit of pain, really. Like, do you mean, it's a crack, it's hurting. Yeah, it's quite painful to me, but you can't really hurt me. It's just there. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like toothache or whatever. It comes and it goes, and you just make that sort of happy time come along, laugh and joke. It's always there, the pain, but you just can't hurt me. There's so many other things which hurt a lot more, isn't there? So the loss of people and things as well. So yes, it's looked at him and his can't hurt me and his other expressions, and they've just motivated me. I can go further. So I started doing 50 milers, like, just without events. I think I did a 60 mile 100k and no event. Then did one of the boys in work, Paul Harris, Chomp. He suggested about, why don't you join up to this flipping November Beast? What's a November Beast? Like, have a go with that. Never heard of it. What have you got to do? You run a mile on day 1, 2 miles day 2, 3 miles day 3, right the way up till the 30th. The last week you're doing like 23, 24. All right, that seems okay. I'll have a go with that if you want. So signed up to it again for charity. And if I can, I mentioned about the charity events. I'd always like to do it for charity. I think that we've probably asked too much of people, and if anyone can suggest ways of helping a charity without actually asking for money, whether it be, I don't know, there's got to be ways to do it, whether it be promoting them, whether it be advertising. I'm not really sure, but there's got to be a way of making a big difference to people's lives without actually having to ask for the money all the time. I'm not sure how to go about that, but that's a big thing. But yeah, did that for charity. 2 days, it was 52 miles I think it was left, stress fracture in my shin, and I just run through it and just can't hurt me again. It was just in my mind, and just finished it, raised a good amount for charity, and the charity were really happy with it and everything. And then I did that for the next 4 years, then the November Beast, and there was just no reason to do it anymore. I didn't feel like, are you going to do it, and why would I want to do it anymore? I've done it for 4 years. Like, I mean, I don't see the issue anymore. I don't see what I have to prove. Like, so I stopped doing that about 2 years ago. But then we started trying to go further with Brecon to Cardiff. That was through the storm, like electric storm and everything. Every other race was called off. But no, we're ultra runners. We're going to go through the storm. What do you mean we're going through the storm? Well, there's thunder, lightning, no park runs, no this, no that, but we're going. So Gareth's wife, Louise, she said to Gareth about you can't run with an ironing board on because it was all for charity, ironing board, iron and a shirt. Plus you have the full ultra kit as well. So it's not as if you get away scot-free. You've got everything on board. So yes, we stepped outside. Yeah, sure enough, it was absolutely torrential coming down the canal in Brecon, almost blowing you into because of the board puts you off. And my spine doesn't like it at all, the board, to be honest, especially with the wobbling and things. So we came down there. I think Gareth had COVID or some nasty illness. He was grey, and yeah, a bit of motivation talk went on, and we got each other. All of us got fired up. Me, Gareth, and Chris. And Chris is a very good runner as well. So we finished that event, and then moved on to go for, what was the next one then? I think it was the Dragon 100. And COVID had hit quite hard at the time. So we'd entered. I was told that I couldn't run because Caerphilly was on lockdown and there was only elite athletes that were able to run. So I was like, well, what do I do? So I've messaged and Run Walk All, really helpful, to be fair. And they put me in the elite athlete group, which absolutely blew my mind, to be honest, because there was all these skinny runners who were just, I don't know, six packs probably, because they were so thin, and their rucksacks were about the size of a money bag. And I'm like, what's going on? I've got a rucksack I could fit a tent in. Like, I mean, I had everything in it because I was only allowed out on this condition, and the condition was that I'd have to find my own way home if I pulled out. There was no way I was pulling out, but if I'd pulled out, I would have had to get home. Well, my parents weren't allowed out of the county, so or anyone, so how was I going to get home? So I wasn't actually allowed in the rescue bus or anything, so I would have had to walk home anyway, so why would I pull out? So I started 2 hours after, I think it was Gareth and Chris, and I had to finish. I had to get from Rosilly, whether it was run, walk or crawl. So that was the first 100 miler we did, and yeah, it blew my mind, really. I was talking to Tasha Farid, I think, is it? I don't remember her first name now. Really lovely girl, and really good runner, and was with her for a while in the mountains and things, and we stuck together for the rest of the run, and just didn't realise how much hell actually was involved. And it was a bit slower than I would have wanted it to have gone because of different issues going on. I had this huge rucksack on for one, which there was no need for, really. I had a kitchen sink in there, really, because I thought, well, if I got to pull out, then I've got to carry everything anyway. So I carried everything on the run that I needed for the entire thing. So it was just way overstocked. And we got to 100 miles down in Penarth, and I said, I might just book a taxi now. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, I don't want a medal. I'm not interested. I don't want a T-shirt. But you've done the event. We just got to get over there now. And the park gate was shut. She said, I'll ring now and find out the way. And I said, I don't really care. Like, I'm done. Like, I've done my 100 miles. Yeah, but we're not at the end. But I only came to do 100 miles. That's all I want. Like, and she was like, you've got to finish the event. That's where you come here. And I was like, all right, then I still keep you company, but it's not really about that for me. Like, and it's still not. No, I got medals and T-shirts and things, but it's never about that. It's as Goggins would say, the internal badge of honor is, you've done it. You know that you've output. You've been strong. And it's the pride in what you've actually put yourself through in your body. Our bodies are absolutely amazing. The mind quits before the body 9 out of 10 times, doesn't it? And the amount of runners that you see, like in London, the amount of runners who were like lying on the side, and I'm thinking, you've done 26 miles, like, to me. We weren't even warmed up, like, what's going on? And I had an ironing board on my back and jiu-jitsu gi and everything, and they may have done a serious injury, I don't know, but more than likely, a lot of the time is perhaps they weren't going to hit the time they wanted or the speed they wanted, but their body probably hadn't quit, like, I mean, it's probably their mind that wanted out before the body, and that's just how it goes on these events. So that was my first one. When I got to the end, and my feet were absolutely in bits. They would, it's just blisters all over them. I don't know exactly what trench foot a lot of people sort of have these days, don't they? Because they don't change their socks. And you start learning as the events you go on, there's basic things you can do to help yourselves. Like, with the poles, with the shoes, changing the socks, keeping the feet dry. Just basic little things that can help, which make a massive difference. The person that may finish in front may not be in half the pain that you were at the back because you haven't changed your socks for the entire 100 miles, which I didn't. I just kept them on. They were soaking wet for the entire race for the same pair of shoes because I knew I'd have to carry another pair of shoes home, and there was no way was I going to do that. So, yeah, I learned some valuable lessons on that. And Yeah, we did. I think we did another 100 after that because we couldn't run together on that because of COVID and things. I think me and Gareth did the one the year after again, and we got lost in the forest, which was quite an adventure. And then some woman appeared from a window in a bedroom and was like, "Oh, you got to go that way, boys." We're like, "It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Why is she watching us through a window?" So it was just the craziest. It was just like, wow, which it must have been a message from God, like to me, because there's no one else about, and this was just a pitch black forest, like, and there was just this house on the corner. But yeah, we did. I think that was our time, and then we did Reese's Wild Horse 200 then, and I did a couple of events with my daughter, the Ridham, the Goggins 4x4 48. Did I do any others around it? I'm not a massive event. I think Reese is an amazing guy after doing the bad water with him, and he changed the Ridham for my daughter to run when she was 15 and got it through. And him and his wife are absolutely amazing. The community are absolutely fantastic. Run, Walk, Crawl, they have done amazing things for us as well, especially with the charity events, and have been super helpful with everything. The race across Scotland, and so the whole running community. I know there's a special vibe in Wales, but the running community ultra-wise is absolutely amazing. I did the London Marathon, like I mentioned, and yeah, it was okay. London was okay. I loved the atmosphere. The people were fantastic, but runners don't want to talk to you. They're all in their own little world. And to be honest, it was a bit frustrating because they were more interested in taking selfies and speaking to their mother, who was wherever they were or whatever they're doing on their phones. And I'm trying to overtake with an ironing board iron and a shirt with a jiu-jitsu gi and no shoes. So often I'm running through really bad gravel road because they're on the phone or they're taking selfies, and I'm like, this isn't really how it's supposed to be, like. And I'd rock up next to people, fancy dressed, fantastic, well done, mate, and they just ignore you. And I'm thinking, this wouldn't happen in ultra. So the crowd were fantastic, but the runners didn't really show the same love as the ultra sort of community. And I don't know why. Maybe because I was different again. I'm not really sure, but I think helping each other, and the crowd were fantastic cheering for people that were struggling, but I think there could be a lot more helping each other within the running community and just positiveness. I would like to see that, because I know they must be within clubs, they must support each other, but when it comes to other people, they don't seem to support other people as much, whereas in ultra, you're basically all one club as soon as you start off. So that sort of love and vibe would be great to have seen that up there, and it would have been nice to have felt that, whereas I felt I was pretty much all on my own on the course. My daughter started it with me because I waited for her because she dislocated her knee 3 weeks before the event, and she still did it. So I waited for her at the start, and then I'm sure she hid from me so she'd lose me, so she was embarrassed with her at the ironing board. And but yeah, so I lost her and just went and finished. I think what I do it in 4 hours, something, 4 hours 10 minutes or something like that, the London Marathon. But yeah, so I skipped back again then, sorry. So the Wild Horse was the major thing we signed up for then, and yeah, that brought us to our knees. And at the time, have you ever tried a 200? No, it takes you to places you've never been before, like, and you do really ask yourself the questions. 100, you go there and you ask these questions, and you look at your watch or whatever, and they say, look, you've only got 60 miles left, you've only got 40 miles left. 200, oh, you've got 160 miles left, and you're like, wow. And then you're on big slopes, you're low on water because the heat waves come in as it normally does, or torrential rains come in. You're sleep deprived, and yeah, it's a whole nother level. Like, and a lot of people in the race across Scotland, they were outputting too much within the first 100. So it's difficult. There's not many in betweens 100 and 200, which is crazy because that's 100 miles again. So a lot of people go off way, way too fast, and they just, the way I tend to run is I go off hard for the first 5 miles, try to hang on for the next 95 or 195. So that's basically what happened in Scotland. But yeah, on the Wild Horse, we were the same. We went off, but neither of us had done the 200 before. Reese was fantastic, but he just kept motivating Gareth, which just kept breaking me because at sleep station or something. Reese had come in, all of a sudden Gareth, yeah, because he's such an inspirational guy, and he's like, come on guys, we'll go to the next one, you do this, do that, and I was like, I just need to sleep, like, I just haven't had any sleep. And then Gareth just doesn't seem to need sleep, like, and so off we go again. And yeah, it was a crazy event, and it was a real lesson into how low you can go and how much you can just keep in output in your body, and just with positive thinking, negotiating with self, just how you can get through these things. So when it comes back to sort of mental health again, like, and like I've been in a bit of a low spell with this, being injured with the shin and ankle, and sometimes you just got to negotiate with yourself, and this isn't going to be forever or whatever. This pain doesn't last, and go look for something more positive. Whether we can always do something. It may not be that I can't run at the moment, but I can lift weights. I could go swimming, possibly. It aches a bit doing that, but there's lots of things I could do, and that's the same when it comes to the 200 miles. Is that you've got to look at what, right, hang on a minute now. Yeah, I got 164 miles left, but the next checkpoint is only like 5 miles away. They'll have, I don't know, they'll have chocolate biscuits there, they'll have whatever it is, and it's just to keep motivating yourself and bouncing off. But yeah, 200 miles it's a tough one, and you really do have to break it down. I've never had a pacer, and to be honest with you, I think if you're in the top 10, yeah, you should, because you're going for time. If you're not, no, you shouldn't be, unless you feel security-wise you need that. Yeah. Because I've seen pacers who are pulling their man home, like, what's all that about? Like, it's not about that, is it? It's about the community and about finishing the race. Like, for me, that's in my mind anyway, and that's why I go to hell every time I run. I hate it. I hate running. It sucks. Like, and the 200 miles absolutely sucks. So, yeah, it almost. I understand a lot of people can be involved like that, and it's great. But if it's about time for them, then that's great. But a lot of the time, like Gareth likes running quite fast, and you'll get people going past who have got pacers because they obviously know the exact route. They know where they go in. They bring in food for people or whatever it may be. They're helping the people out, and it just seems a little unfair on it on that front. But I get it if you want to get a time or whatever. But yeah, for me, you just go there, innit? But I suppose the other side of that is they'll say, well, I always run with Gareth, so that's like being together on there anyway. But yeah, it's a 200 mile is a real eye opener. I would suggest anyone have a go at it. It's just because to see just what you're capable of, and anyone is capable of it. To train for a 5k, I reckon you could train within a couple of weeks. To train for a 10k, you could do it 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Half marathon, you could give yourself a month and a half, like. And I think it's the time thing comes into it with a lot of people, doesn't it? So that's where the pacer thing I mentioned, now if they go for time, that's fine, like. And I think that's where a lot of people from within the runners community as well, they get sort of transfixed on this time thing, and they're watching other people. Facebook, social media can be a real bad thing for that, kind of, in that they want to achieve this thing. It's about the achievement of finishing always for me. I'm not interested. I don't even look at my time on my watch ever when I'm running. It's only for heart rate. That's the only time I've got it on. So someone says, how fast you run? I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's just that's all it's about. It's about being in that zone and getting on and things. So I think people spend a lot more time, and they're after the running coaches, and if they give positive advice and bring you into a community, fantastic. But if it's all about pushing yourself to make yourself ill to achieve a time, that's not for me what it's all about. I think it's about self, well-being, health, and like I mentioned, the math and the aerobic and anaerobic. And if you're staying in the aerobic, that's promoting good health, and that's what everything should be about, whether it be about fat loss or losing weight, whether it be about improving your overall health or mental health. That's what running is about for me, is improving self, improving mind, and improving body if you can as well. So yeah, it's the journey has been quite substantial, I think, starting off with the couch to 5k to 200, but I still think we can go further. I think that there's, I don't know, whether it be a 250 or imagine a 300, that would be a nice event, wouldn't it? A nice 300 miler for you in hell, and just how far can you go, like, and see if you can hold on. And I know there's people, gifted runners, that could do that probably quite easily, but for me, it would just be to finish. The time wouldn't be important. It would be just to see just how, just looking on your watch, innit? Seeing you got 300 miles to go. That's just tough, innit? That's tough on the mind. So, yeah, it's don't think I could do a barefoot, mind. I got to be honest. I'd like to try a 50 when I've get fixed now, barefoot. So I don't know sure what, if you've got one to recommend, an ultra marathon, a 50-mile ultra marathon barefoot, I'd like to try that. I did the London barefoot, I did the Dragon 30 barefoot, which was tough on the ballast and gravel on the coastal path, but I could have gone further. It was just the pain of the actual ballast and gravel that really, really did bring some serious pain that day. But finished it, so I could have gone further. So it's I'd like to try a 50 barefoot, no shoes at all. And a lad in Scotland, he actually in the Vibrams actually did the whole race across Scotland in Vibrams, I think it was, and that's pretty incredible because some of that terrain was rough. It was some nasty sharp stuff on there. So yeah, hats off to that guy. Like, he was really, really nice guy as well. We spoke to him at the end. So it would be a passion of mine, barefoot, to be close to nature, just to have that positive well-being. You feel everything around you, and that'd be amazing. 50 miles. So yeah, that's on the cards as long as I can get moving again. And but there's a negative mind again. As long as I can, well, I definitely can. It's just when. So yeah, so you're welcome to join me on that 50-mile barefoot ultramarathon.
Oh, I might have to.
Yes.
I did like I said to you before, I did my 50-mile barefoot walk.
Yeah.
I had like a 6-hour sleep like halfway through, but yeah, that was tough. But doing an actual event and running it, because the furthest I've done's 50 kilometers in an event, so 50-mile running, that'll be a new high for me. So doing it barefoot as well.
Be amazing. It'd be amazing. But if you join the two together, you're there. It's you've done the walk. Thing I found difficult about the 30-mile Dragon was I never realised, and I watched something with Tony Riddle, the barefoot runner. He did the 3 peaks, and I think he did the length of Britain as well, barefoot. But he used shoes on the roads, which is sensible, to be honest. As I find out often, I get my feet pierced with glass, and there's just so much gravel, and just got to be careful for needles and things like. So I understand why he would have done that. But the thing that I found tough is the form changes. So when you're walking, a lot of the time, and he mentioned it the other day, you got a rocker, so you put your foot down and so you heel first, sort of thing. But when you're running, you're using your foot like a pad, like a bear sort of thing, or like a dog. So you're really like, you're using your whole foot to land on, so it's a whole surface. So walking wise, often you're heel down. So I hadn't conditioned myself for that. At the time, I'd never done any walking, and my daughter said, I think it was like, I don't know, 2 days before, a week before, she was going to do the Dragon 30, and I'm like, seriously, how are we going to fit this in now? Like, so I said to her, because I was going to be running with Graham and Chris, Gareth had done the 100, which was insane, because we'd haven't long done the Epona, and I think what did he finish on that? Joint 6th or 7th, I think we came in, and on the Epona, and that's a really good event. Honest to God, you go and do 100, do the Epona, fantastic event. Trees put on there. You go up all the peaks of Abergavenny, and amazing.
I've just seen come out today. They're putting on another 100-miler.
All right.
So I can't remember what it's called because I literally saw it like 10 minutes before you came here.
Yeah.
They've just created an Instagram page that's coming next year. So.
All right. Oh, that was really good. And my whole thing with that, I was under investigation for cardiomyopathy. So the night before, the day before the Epona, I had the all clear that I didn't have the gene. So I've been holding back a bit in different events where Gareth is capable of a lot more. So I said to him, I'm just going to push you. And he was like, what do you mean? I said, you're capable of, he was like, I'm not capable of top 6, top 7, whatever. Yeah, you are. Top 10, you're easy capable of that. Like. And so we just went off hard, and we just kept pushing and pushing. I just took my shirt off on the start line again, just kept it off all night, and they were like, you've got to put your shirt on, it's cold. And I was like, yeah, I know. I'll know when it's too cold. And they were like, yeah, but it's freezing. And it was like rain lashing in. But it's just that mind thing. It's a distraction. And I like the cold plunges and things as well. And we quit too easy, but also sometimes if we got a distraction, that'll help. So the pain was quite bad from the cold and everything else. But I knew if I got too cold, I would have to put my shirt on and things. That's sensible. And obviously I didn't want to freeze on top of one of the mountains. So, but the chafing in my bag and things, it created new pain. So you can always create new pain. So the running pain was one thing, but the chafing in the bag and things was something else. So it almost distracts your mind. And I said to Gareth years ago about stingies. I said, if you're on a run and you hurt something or whatever, I said, run through some stingies. He said, what are you on about? Like, and I was like, the stingy pain will take over any other pain you got. And he was like, there's something wrong with you. Like, and he's done that since. He's run through stingies. He said, because honest to God, it does work. Like, do you know what I mean? But yeah, the opponent. So I just booted all the way around. And I mentioned Smudge before. The guy does Tesla treatment, and incredible, really good with vitamins and things. And I've changed my diet, and I put on magnesium and vitamin C, vitamin D as well. So he's changed quite a few things. Been having these Tesla charges and things on it, and I felt fantastic. I had done very little training. The furthest I'd run all year was the London Marathon, and did the Epona 100, and just pushed him all the way. Felt great at the end as well, which is amazing, because thought I'd be battered, but I felt really good. Felt fresh, and thought, right, great. That was it. Like, and we finished, I think, joint 6, 7, something like that, with Chris Buckley, one of the other. He's an amazing runner as well. He was supposed to have done Dragon's Back, but had a back injury just before, so he had to pull out this year. So he's in that next year. But yeah, there's loads of amazing people on the community and things. But yeah, Reese's ones are always a bit special. He's a really special guy. His wife's amazing, and the guys they got around him as well, they're all very supportive. So and the aid station people, checkpoints, good fun as well. So yeah, I have to mention it to Gareth, because I know he's looking at different events, but I've told him unless he can do something for charity at the minute, I'm retired. So we'll see. I have to have a look. But yeah, definitely have a look at the Epona. Fantastic race.
Yeah. You've mentioned a few times about like barefoot running and an ironing board specifically. Can you tell me more about how you got into those, and like why an ironing board out of everything?
Yeah, so the ironing board, this is Gareth's ingenious idea, again, as one of the managers in my work said. Which he was mentioned in an extreme ironers club for a while. So we got a group chat, and me and Chris just kept batting it away. We're like, no, joking, like, he's winding us up. So he kept going on about this extreme ironers, and we're like, no. So he started sending pictures of these people like skydiving, ironing, and then scuba diving, and a picture up a tree with a guy ironing with an ironing shirt, and we're like, what's he on about? Like, do you mean? So he kept saying, I want to do an event, like, innit? And we just kept ignoring him. Like, do you mean? Think, oh, go away. So this happened for quite some time, and in the end, he started sending us a rule book, and we were like, what? Seriously? Like, do you mean? But little did we realise he doctored the rule book to put all stuff that he wanted in there as well. Like, so we were like, so there was a bit of comedy involved as well. Like, but then he started sent us the actual rule book. So there is actually a legit club of extreme ironers around the world, right? So you wouldn't believe it, but there is actually extreme ironing club. So a guy in the London Marathon said to me that he was one of the founders of it, and I don't know if he is or not, but he was saying to me, Andy Farrell, I think it was, and so he'd started it for suicide awareness, because he'd lost a loved one through that. So he said that he was one of the founders, but I think there's a club, like I say, around the world as well, which is the one Gareth was mentioning on Facebook and everything. So we considered it. That was as much as we could say. Like, and me and Chris said, oh, we'll have a look. Like, and so you had to have a standard size ironing board, a standard iron with the lead on and plug and whatever, and a shirt. And then you had to stop at some point and iron, whether it be up the trees, whatever it may be. So that's the rules of the Extreme Ironing Club, is you get the ironing out and do the ironing on the way. So Gareth wanted to do it for like a dog charity. He said, oh, I like to do a charity event. He said, I haven't done one before, and this is what I want to do. And then the night before he was going to sort it out, he watched the program and said he was on tears on the sofa watching Wish Upon a Star. And he said, it broke my heart. He said, we have to do something for Wish Upon a Star. And I said, oh, I've heard of the charity, and Chris was the same, but we didn't realise just how heartbreaking it is, really, and how much help they do give a lot of people. So it was like, right, yeah, we're in. So that's how it all started. So Chris came up with the idea of ways to carry it, because Andy was saying you've got to carry it in hand, which for a marathon, yeah, possibly you can do that and carry it, but safety-wise, not really a good idea. But the idea was, Chris, with we had a surfboard holder, was to put it on our backs, so strap it on and tie it in place and things. So to allow us to go further, because that was always the objective, was to be able to do an ultra marathon for it, because people had done half marathons and things before, but never ultra marathon. So I don't think it was not interested in world records or anything like that. Gareth just wanted to do something that no one had done. So right, okay, that's where the Breck and the Cardiff come into it. Was little did we know we were going to have a crazy storm, electric storm, the day of the event and things. But the training we did up to it, and the support we had from the community around, like Bedford, Thomas, Markham, Philly, Cardiff, Newport, Marshfield, where Gareth is, absolutely amazing. Honestly, everyone around was absolutely fantastic. Gareth got interviewed on the radio. I think it was by Scott Neale. And yeah, it was really good. We got a lot of support behind us, and we raised a good few £1,000 for the charity. So it was very worthwhile doing. Me and Gareth went up the mountain at Brecon training with it, and we ended up in this gale force wind in the training. We just couldn't walk forward because the boards were so just blowing us backwards all the time. The wind, we were like, flipping heck. Imagine if there was going to be a storm on the day. And what happened? Storm on the day. So yeah, often we were going backwards just with it's like having a sail on, isn't it, with an ironing board. So yeah, so we did, I think we did the Cardiff half again to advertise it. And then we did the Brecon to Cardiff. And Chris has since nailed his ironing board to the shed roof and says it's never coming off again. And Gareth has said that his is in retirement because it does hurt a lot, in that it chafes all your back, it cuts your legs, and yeah, it's not the most pleasant to have sort of bashing you about all the time. So that's how it started off. And I mentioned about the Dragon 100. That was our last, no, sorry, that was the last event together, me and Gareth. Chris ruled it out because he wanted to do the event and wanted to finish it all and things. So he said, I'm not going to take the board. Me and Gareth were like, right, okay. I'd suffered with long COVID before, and I wasn't too confident, to be honest. But hey, in for the penny, in for the pound. If you're going to go to hell, why not go to hell properly, innit? So strapped it on, and again the wind was an issue. But yeah, we got. Where did we get as far? We got as far as Ogmore, and my spine, because like I'm not even supposed to run, like I mentioned, so my spine just seized. I felt like I was going to boot myself again. Couldn't move my neck, and just absolutely my whole body seized, and I just couldn't move. Chris was in, he just sort of disappeared from, you could see he just went vacant, just gone out of the room, like, do you know what I mean? And we were like, said the guy, saying I'm in all sorts of trouble here. Like I said, I can't even move, can't move my neck, can't move anything, like, do you mean? And Chris was, he just got all over the shop. And Gareth, I said about us having banter, his talk to us, his sort of build-up talk was, my local, it shuts at 4 o'clock. I suggest you boys get your stuff together, get sorted, we're out here in 5 minutes. Flipping seriously, like, is that the sort of sympathy and encouragement you're giving us? So I went to the toilet, took some ibuprofen and gave myself a real flipping talking to. Chris had took some ibuprofen and things as well, come back, and he'd thankfully come back round a bit with a bit of sugar and things as well. And we left there, and crazy enough, we started overtaking the 50-mile runners. Gareth just went on this crazy speed flipping thing. And I think at the time, my daughter said that was the second fastest marathon you'd ever done, with an ironing board on to finish a 100-mile race. And it's insane. Gareth was just absolutely just possessed. He was just insane. He just got going faster and faster and faster. And he was just up and down on the coastal path. And you know what it's like. It's just up and down, round, and then it's just absolutely crazy. And the trees, you're hitting every tree with this flipping ironing board, like, and he was just absolutely bonkers. But yeah, finished it so strong, and it just shows again, just by, if you make it fun and have those words in your ear, whether it is stern, whether it be sort of winding you up, whether it be aggressive, whatever it may be, whatever ticks that box, in it, you mean? And we tend to do that with each other, and we sort of implant these thoughts and whatever, and yeah, he just turned it. We just absolutely smashed it on the back. Sort of, if it was golf, it would be on the back nine. We smashed it out of the park. We just flew home with the ironing boards, and yeah, it was just got to the end of absolute agony, because it just cut us to bits, really. Like, and because we had to carry the full 100-mile ultra kit as well on top of that. So yeah, but for a good event again, I haven't ruled it out, and I used the board for London barefoot with the jiu-jitsu gi. For 24 JJ Caerphilly, which is another amazing community, like I mentioned. They just can't do enough for you, very much like the ultra scene, and all looking after each other all the time. If they can help, they'll help, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's a real breath of fresh air in the current environment to see people like that, to hear people that always want to help, supportive. If you want to chat, yeah, they'll make time for you, and it's just absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I did that with the gear and things on, finished London barefoot. Did Caerphilly then in full gi, so had the jacket on, the belt, the trousers, barefoot with the board and things, just to sort of promote the club. And it was a group of us did it, so it was, I think it was 10 of us of the 24 JJ Caerphilly did it, and real good fun. It was good fun. Even people that don't run from the club got out and did it. One boy did it in Crocs, so he did the Caerphilly 10k at pace as well, flipping in Crocs and everything, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's a real amazing community, and it's something that I've learned mental health wise. Again, refer to that. Try to connect with these communities, even if you're not capable of ultra at the moment. You can walk it. Most of these events are timed so you can walk the events, hike it. But if you can surround yourself with jiu-jitsu again, surround yourself with these positive people. I haven't been able to train like I love to train for a number of weeks now, like, but if you're around these people, they help, like, they lift you, like, and I've had some quite low moods lately with everything just being sort of isolated. Elevate your foot, put it in a boot. Oh, for goodness sake, like, I mean, I should have just strapped it and run, because that's what I always do, but I listen to the people that know best, because I'm now just turned 48. I'm thinking longevity wise, perhaps I should start listening to these people now. Perhaps they do know best. But if I refer back, I was told I weren't going to run in the first place, so perhaps I should have just strapped it up and just carried on. But yeah, these positive people, get them around you, like, they really do pick you up and help you get where you want to go, like, it's they are a real breath of fresh air. So yeah, that's with the ironing board. Anyway, back to the iron. That's what I come into at the moment. They're in retirement. I'm trying to persuade Gareth to bring it out again for, I don't know, maybe 200. 100's impossible, right? 100-miler is, I think it's possible for anyone. It just depends on if you put that positive person around you and you put the training in. I think most people could possibly achieve it. It's a huge ask, but if you're mentally strong, I think same with a lot of other sports. If you're mentally strong, the physical side, like with food as well, like they say the training's in the kitchen. I think with ultra and these endurance events, I think a lot of it is mentally. If you can really condition yourself mentally when it comes to the event, even when you're at absolute agony and things, you'll still get through it. So if just surround yourself with these people and the positive talk and everything. So I think they had a big factor in it. Like, and if you can get people to put seeds in your mind, like Gareth did on that 100, and things that I've said to him before, like about Maddock, his son, when he says to him about, the Goggins rule, like, when you think you're done, you're not done. And is it I can't remember the rule now. Is it the 70-30 or something? I haven't looked at a lot of Goggins stuff lately, but there's lots of things, like, which come into play. So if you can play with people's minds and get them in to see that it's not impossible, like, do you mean you could walk however much is left, like, do you mean this, and you could walk the entire event at the pace that, like I said, about the time that's provided. So yeah, 200 miles maybe. I don't know. I don't think Gareth's up for it at the minute. Like, he wants to just enjoy the 200 mile. Like, he's signed up for the Wild Horse again with Reese. But yeah, I'd be happy to try to go further, but I'm not currently signed up to any events at the moment. So who knows? Maybe the ironing board can come out if we do a charity thing. If you fancy a charity thing, get Bob the drummer out again. And yeah, it's be good to sort of team up with people, perhaps in some. If a lot of people get together and do different things, that would be good, wouldn't it? Just to raise some awareness, charity money, or whatever it be, like for helping people out. That's what it's all about to me, is try to show people a way, and there's always strength involved in it. I mean, whether it be strength, showing people that it can be done, and that's part of the barefoot thing for me as well, is that I'm the guy that would tiptoe to the bin, that on the beach I'd be sort of dancing on the sand to get to the lounger. My feet are soft, like I'm a soft guy. That's just how it is. My kids, I spoil them rotten. I'm a soft person. Like, I'm not built to endure this pain as such that we go through. Would try to help anyone out, and would go out of my way to do that. So, which is why the charity things come into it for me. But by going barefoot and running, sometimes you go over glass, sometimes it goes in. It did on London. It was about 12 miles gone. I felt the glass go into my foot. I kicked the barrier. I think I stress fractured my foot, but there was no way was I stopping, because it was for a charity event. And it's just showing people that it's possible, isn't it? So my feet were sticking to the floor. You haven't done London, have you? Yeah. So a couple of years ago, they changed it. So in Cardiff, they give you bottles of Lucozade usually, don't they, on the aid stations and things. So in London, they give you cups. But how they expect people to drink Lucozade from a cup when they're running, I have no idea. So what people tend to do is sort of swing it back, and most of it goes over the floor. So by these sort of aid or fueling stations, the floor is absolutely black with tacky stuff and stones, where the Lucozade is just absolutely sort of saturated the ground. So my mate warned me about it, because he's done London a couple of times, and he's a really, really good runner. Like, and he runs up him and his son and his partner. they all went up and all ran it together, which was amazing. Andrew Reddy and fantastic group of people, and they really helped make the event for me, to be honest, because no one really bothered with me on the actual event. Being around them for that couple of days was fantastic. But yeah, like he said to me, when you get there, you may have problems. And I said, why is that? Like, you know, he said, because your feet, he said, I can basically feel the soles of my trainers being pulled off. It's that sticky. It's like putting super glue. And I was thinking, that doesn't sound good. Like, so I got there, and yeah, it was hell. It was pulling the skin off my feet. And when you get off there, obviously your feet are still sticky. So then every stone would stick to your feet as soon as you got past it. So that was all the Lucasade stops. It was just unbelievable. So yeah, the glass went in, kicked it, and I was just thinking, you know what, just go somewhere else. Whatever it is on your mind, and it just this is temporary. It's just how it goes. Man up, smile, wave to the crowd, make their event. They're all here to cheer people on, like, do you mean? And the crowd were fantastic, and I've no doubt loads of the runners, possibly the ones I didn't see as well, like, do you mean, they were fantastic. It's just a lot of runners are just not interested in the sort of person I am, maybe, and just don't resonate with me. I don't know, but yeah, I was pleased with their time and how I finished it for charity. But yeah, that Lucasade, man, honestly, you have to witness it. It's just like nothing you ever felt before. You're like pulling your leg. You can't. I think if you stopped, you probably couldn't get your feet off the ground. It's mental. So yeah, it was a different thought. But yeah, soft. I am really soft personality wise as well. So who knows?
You say that, but then you're also running like 200 miles, and like you keep being like, oh, I quit easy, but then you're doing these events and you're not quitting.
Yes, and this is something that, and I listened to your podcast with Nathan, and he said about people asking him about, you must be so strong, and he's like, well, I am in the events. Well, I tried to use that in the other way round, in a sense, in that I'm really soft in the events and out of the events, but by making myself harder in the events, I'm making myself harder out of it. So if that makes sense, because I only actually run to try to make my mind harder. Yeah. And by taking my shirt off, my shoes off, people calling me an idiot or whatever it may be, like, it's just toughening my mind in that you can't hurt me again. Like, it comes into my mind, like, I'll just ignore you. And words, especially with social media and things, like, people, there's a lot of positive people, and I've had a lot of support. People have been fantastic with different things I've done over the years. But there's a lot of negative people out there as well. Like, you know, there's a lot of people sort of like, they're measuring you and they always want to put you down and this, that, and the other. So that's where I use the hardening of the mind, and it is that I do take things too personally, and it's a fault of mine. And often I run through things in my mind over the top. So someone will say something and you're playing it through your mind. And I think there's a lot of people like me out there that are a bit different. And possibly if I went to the doctors, they'd say to me, you got an ADHD, you got this, you got that, you're depressed, you're this. And I'm like, well, they'd probably give me a million pills. But you don't really need all that. You can sort of self-heal and self-fix. And I'm on a bit of a journey at the moment where I'm trying to do that. So I can't run. So I'm trying to use other things like the half breath. I'm going to be getting back into running barefoot. I'm going to be going back to jiu-jitsu and getting as much of that done. I'm on a bit of a journey in that I'd like to sort of serve people, whatever that be going forward. I think I've got whatever. I don't think I'm not sure coaching wise or whatever. I think there's a lot of great coaches out there already. I like to do something maybe a bit different. I'm not sure what that would be, whether it's to help people that need to improve, whether it's because they want to maybe lose a bit of weight, maybe it's because they want to become more positive, maybe because they want to become stronger, because I class myself as this weak person, and possibly a lot of people would relate to that and think, well, I could never do that, Henry. Well, I'm actually the same as you. I'm that weak person. But I've trained myself to actually, when it comes to it, unless my leg snaps, I ain't quitting. Like, when it's fractured, I'll tape it up. It's just how it goes. Like, I know I can run on a stress fracture. I've done it twice now, and I would do it again. It's pain. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Pain is pain, but it's not pain as in if you lost someone or a loved one, or as if it's a serious medical condition. Like, my leg is still attached. Like, so yeah, so that may be something, or it would definitely be something that I'd love to move into in the future, would be to help people and serve people to, in a positive manner, to improve their lives. Yeah. And by improving their lives, it would improve others' lives, and that would be something I'd love to do. So yeah, barefoot, really close to nature, really close to everything. You feel everything, you see everything, it's all around you, and it hurts. It does hurt. I'm not going to lie to you. People have said, oh, I want to hurt you. First first couple of months, as you probably do, you have blisters on your feet or like?
I'm actually like pretty good. I didn't get blisters the whole 50 miles. Like the only thing I had was, when you're going on like quite thick grass and it goes in between your toes constantly and it just gives you like those paper cuts.
Yeah,
I just had that.
yeah.
Other than that, my feet were pretty good, Nick.
Oh, sounds like you're prime for the 50, to be honest. Yeah, no, when I first started, like I said, they were really soft and I tiptoed to the bin and whatever. I had like real pinches and cuts, and I've had to go to the doctors to ask for a tetanus after a real nasty gash in my foot and things. And she was like, "What are you doing now?" And I was like, "Oh man, I have to tell her." I thought she was going to give me hammering, like. And she said, "Why are you doing barefoot?" I said, "Yes." I said, "I want to do a charity event or something like that." "I love it. I love it." She said, "Yeah, do this, do that, do whatever. The thing you've got to be careful of is dogs, muck and things like that, because that could infect and that obviously could lose your leg and things. So even with ultra and barefoot and things, there's always precautions you've got to take. And you can't just go out there and say, I'm going to run 200 miles a day. You've got to build up to these things. Same with barefoot running, is you've got to build, as you found out with the walking, it's not something you could just go out today and walk 50 miles. You've got to condition yourself. So not only mentally, and I think physically, you wouldn't have had to walk 50 miles before. But as long as you can walk 15, 20 miles, you would have made it to 50. And I think that's the same with ultra running as well. If you can get to 50 miles, you can get to 100 miles when it comes to a run walk. And if you can get to 200 miles, you can get further. So I think this endless sort of thing is just how much can your body actually take before it actually gives up. But yeah, barefoot is fantastic to walk 50 miles. There's a guy that's just walked right over America or something, only barefoot. Have you seen that guy? No, have a look. He's just my boy. Because I've always tried to walk barefoot just to I'm trying to strengthen the theory behind it is it strengthens your ligaments and things, doesn't it? Ligaments, your joints and everything, because the new Nikes or whatever, Hokas, they put all this support and things, but it's actually wobbling and changing your balance, isn't it? So those ligaments, cartilage, whatever it may be, are no longer needed, so they become weak. So by going barefoot or using Vivo barefoot or Vibrams, whatever shoe you're using, you're actually strengthening all your joints and all the ligament, cartilage, muscles around it as well. So it creates a lot stronger base and a lot stronger leg and body ultimately as well. So yeah, I tried to walk barefoot just to try to get this sort of stress fracture and apparently a soft tissue damage now as well. So it's swelling up all the time and I just raise it, ice it and things, but I'm trying to get him moving again. But yeah, so he said to me, "Oh, Dad, you walking around barefoot, there's a guy that's just walked all the way over America. It was like 40 odd degrees. Like, he didn't even moan. Flipping heck, like, do you know what I mean?" So, yeah, he keeps me in check, like he's 12. So, yeah, so there's a guy, yeah, apparently walked right the way over. And there's some amazing people out. There's a lot of groups as well. I've seen, and the ladies are thinking they can't do it, or whatever gender they may be, think, oh, men are the only ones that do it. Women are so much stronger. Courtney DeWalt, they reckon that women are far better at ultra events than men because they're far stronger mentally, and I'm not going to argue with that. I think it's so true. Like, perhaps all the men want to prove me wrong. I don't know, whatever gender you may be, but yeah, they have got that grit, haven't they? Do you know what I mean? It's just, you see some things that happen and things, like, it's just absolutely incredible. Like I mentioned Natasha earlier on, and she'd had a baby I don't even think it was a year before we did that 100 miler, and then she signed up to a 100 miler, and it was too soon. She admitted it, but there's no way was she dropping out. Absolutely insane. She was like, "Oh yeah, I'm having some real bad issues at the minute, but bear with me. I know I'll come back round." And I'm like, flipping heck, absolutely so strong mentally. So I think there's many lessons we can probably learn off them as well. So yeah, I think you're prime actually for the next the 50 miler, but we'll have to sort something out for that.
yeah, we'll definitely sort something. Like, a lot of what you're talking about is like to do with community and stuff. And something I'm really trying to push with this podcast is the community around it. Like, we've got like a WhatsApp group chat for like a few of the guests that have been on, and I really want to start pushing like group challenges, because everyone's used to doing these sorts of crazy outlandish challenges on their own. Like when I did my 50-mile barefoot walk, like, I was alone. Like, maybe I had like some support crew coming to help me out, things like that. Yeah, like Nathan on his 200, he'll be doing that alone, but he did that with like support crew or whatever. But I want to get people doing them together, like a joint challenge, like you're saying with like, oh yeah, we'll go out do this 50-mile barefoot thing. it's like, well, we could go out and do. One of my last guests, Kevin, he was like, let's do 100 miles carrying a log,
Yeah.
like 4 people, log on shoulder, 100 miles, off you go, lads, something like that. Like,
Yeah. Oh, fair play.
another level.
Yeah, definitely. And that comes back similar to like Bob, your friend, Bob the drummer, and like we met him, and it was an absolutely incredible story. And people, there's so many amazing people, like Ross Edgley, like he did the triathlon and things with that log, and unbelievable, like how you run and cycle, swim, whatever, with this massive log, and I've no idea how he gets them arms mined and things like that. I mean, I'm thinking, well, that's good chicken, like, but there's some really, really amazing people in there, and I suppose relating Goggins to the log thing, there'll be somehow bring that story to that, but to carry a log, the ironing board, you'd be amazed how hard it is. And a log, obviously, you all got to be a very similar fitness or strength or height, because it's going to be changing in it, as you mean, otherwise all the time, and someone's going to be under more pressure at the front. And so, yeah, those sort of challenges are great. And I think there should be a lot more of that out there as well. Like, do you mean? And Nathan, I don't think I'm not fit to tie his shoelaces running. Do you mean? He's an exceptional runner. It's never about finishing in a position for me. Like I say, it's all about just finishing. And I think the top 10, I think, should have paces and things to help them, and because they are going for a time. Like, it's legit. Like, do you mean? I'm not. And the weird thing, and people do call me weird for it, I don't take a crew on anything. I'm very grateful that Gareth's wife, and he gets such energy, it's insane to see, like, it's such energy from seeing his family, like, unbelievably going all down, like I say. And when I mentioned about he wanted out on I thought he wanted out on the race across Scotland because his foot was swollen quite badly and things, and he got to see his family, and his family and saying that because I had suggested he wanted to quit or whatever, like, they were all like, no, and his mood just changed, and he gets such this lift, and they were amazing all the way around, fantastic. But I just don't take a credit. I'm there to suffer. I'm there to be in hell. And same as our first dragon, I haven't paid my money to have a flipping fortnight on a luxury yacht. Like, do you mean? I know I'm going to hell, and I'll go to hell as soon as I make that. Because running sucks. Like, I love the views. I love the people that's around, like you say, the communities. And I'm sure there'd be a lot of people who would love to be involved in that. There's so many great people around on the ultra community and things. And it's a real lesson for people, isn't it? Because, like I say, a lot of marathon runners or running club people, they push them, yeah, do this, do that, do it, and they don't really get the fun side out of it. And I'm not even sure a lot of them actually get goal-wise. Whether if they want to lose weight, that's not really how you do it. You want to be burning fat all the time. You want to be in zone 2. So by hammering up and down all the time, you're probably going to do yourself more injury than good. Like, so I think there's fun ways of doing it, which don't actually involve pushing someone to that extreme, and their body needs to be healthy and happy. Like, so I think it's a fantastic idea. And the community, when my daughter at 50, this is a real sort of overall picture of just how special the ultra community is. She'd done a couple of 10Ks or races with school and things because she was only 15, and she did this ultra, and there was a guy with about 10 miles to go. He'd fallen in a ditch, but the reason was he had cramp. So she heard her screaming and everything. She thought it was me because I was in front just on the way down there through the ferns and things. And she heard all his screaming and things. And then I said, whoa, stop. And she was like, what are you stopping for? And I said, oh, this guy, he's in agony. Like, anyway, we're going to sort him out. Stop. We got to finish, she said. We're on a clock. No, that's not how it works. Like, this is different. Like, so she'd been involved with the running club and things before, and she was being pushed and everything, and fantastic. She's getting better and doing everything else. But this isn't the running club. This is different. We're here together. Like, we're all here to finish if we can. This is a community. Like, it's not about it's not really about time and pace unless you're one of the front runners. This is about trying to get everyone else through in it, and that's where you become involved in it. When as soon as you get going, there's some people, and I know. On the Wild Horse, she'll give me a kicking if I get in her name now, but she had the award the year we did it for dragging everyone home, because she managed to get everyone that was wounded and whatever over the finishing line. So there's a group of them, so she had a special award off Reesen at the end, and what a fantastic achievement. So this was the lesson I was trying to teach my daughter. So we stopped, gave him salt tablets, gave him some electrolytes, got him back on his feet. Do you want our poles? No, I ain't got my own poles. Got him out, got him moving. And she was like, And you could see in her mind, like, this is a life lesson. It's no longer about running. This is a life lesson and something she's going to take forward probably for the rest of her life. And this, we look after each other. This is how we are. We're human beings. We stop, we look after each other, we'll help people, and we get people moving forward again in a positive manner. And that's, at the end of the race, that's the thing she took from him most. Which, so, what a fantastic community. And she finished, I think it was joint fourth or fourth lady or something. And Reese and his wife were like, oh, it's amazing and fantastic. And she absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it, because at the start, everyone went off really fast and it blew her mind. She wanted out, basically, from the start, because everyone had gone off so fast. She felt intimidated by them. I said, don't worry about all them. We'll see them again. What do you mean we'll see them again? They ain't all going to run at that speed. This ain't a 10K race. Like, do you mean there's mountains involved? Oh, and she was like, oh, and really nervous, really nervous for the first 15 miles. And then we started passing people, like, all right, okay. And she started getting in the thing of it. So, but the most that she took out of that race was look after people. So that's why this community is very special. And like I said, the jiu-jitsu community as well is much the same. Absolutely amazing. And I love being part of that special communities and how people look out for each other. So I think that fantastic idea to get people to do things in groups. And also, it may push people onto extra endurance or extra strength, and it may be that bit of fun someone needs to sort of up their training, isn't it? So yeah, brilliant idea. Yeah.
I just want to know what's next for you now then. Like, I know you said like you've retired from events, but I feel like there's got to be something. There's got to be something you're pushing towards.
There will be. The event, I've got a batch of medals which I give away to anyone. I've got a heap of t-shirts I've offered to my mates, and I'm like, I don't do it for that reason. Like I say, it's the internal badge. They're lovely, they're great, but I every event I've done, I've enjoyed, and I try to be more in the now. As I say, I'm trying to be on this journey of sort of self-helping myself as well, and to look at things a lot more positively. So yeah, I'd like to go beyond 250. I'm not a good runner, and it's going to be hell, and I know that, and I don't want a crew. I just want to go, and so yeah, that's something I'd like to do. 50-mile barefoot. I think you can go further again. I think 50 miles. It depends. It's every step barefoot could be a last, as you've probably found out. Like, it's so difficult. And if you're going, when you're running, you're approaching things maybe a bit faster. The rocks cut you as well, so you slide on gravel, they're going in. So yeah, I wanted to try to do the Gower 50 barefoot, but it's just too soon. I just won't be able to get it. It's swelling up still now, so it's too soon for me. But yeah, I'd like to do a 50-miler barefoot, and then I'm interested to see how far that could go. I would always wanted to be put on a track and just say go. We haven't got a track. I'm not sure if Cafilia is a running track. I don't even think there's one local. Is there?
There's one in Blackwood, so it's not too far.
Yeah.
And I know there's one in Tonopandi as well.
Ah, right.
So
yeah,
not miles away.
No, so I'd like to be put on one of them and just say go, see how far you go before you collapse. Yeah. So whether that's 24-hour, because I know that's how Gorgon started off, and it was a 24-hour race, and then you go to hell, and yeah, that's something that I've always fancied doing. But yeah, as of the moment, I don't know. It's so expensive, the races, and like the wild horses. I think it's £500. I think Gareth's paid or 400 and something, and it's fantastic. All the people are fantastic, but I've been there, I've done it, so I don't really see why I'm paying £500 to do it again. I know Gareth loves it, and he loves the actual wild horse community, and I see why. I get it. It's just for me, I don't run for that pleasure, and he loves running. So yeah, mentally, it was so tough, the wild horse, because he was our first 200. I remember we lay down in a doorway up by Brecon, and we got so cold, we couldn't even stand up. Our legs started working, and one of the other runners come past. I think she thought we were homeless guys, because we were under this foil blanket. We're trying to cutch up to get warm, and we just couldn't stand because our legs had gone dead, and I was tripping my nuts off. I kept thinking about Home Alone, you know, where they had the church and everything else. I kept seeing all these churches with Kevin in, and whenever Gareth going, just shut up about flipping churches and Kevin. And then he started seeing all these wild horses and that, like, so yeah. So I understand where he gets this special connection, because it was our first race, and Reese, obviously his wife, and that community with wild horse. But yeah, I'd like to go further than 250. I did look at a couple of rents which are about, I think there was 250. Then there's the Spine's too expensive, Dragon's Back very expensive, and yeah, I can sleep and run. I've done November beast, like, do you mean? That wouldn't frighten me. But for 1,699, I think it is, and with buying all the other kit, not really. But probably more interested in having the GPS off someone and saying go, like. And I'm not a gifted runner. I'm not going to be like Nathan. I'll use him as a reference again. He is very, very good. May say he's not a gifted runner, but he's very fast. And you may be the same. And Bob's a very good runner as well. If I was like that, or like Gareth, and able to finish top 10 regularly and whatever, yeah, that would work. But I'm not that gifted runner. I'm someone that just goes to hell and tries to hang it out and finish at the end. So, yeah, that's what it would be about with me, was to be just to see. I collapsed on the line of Wild Horse, was an absolute agony after 234. I collapsed at the end of the race across Scotland, but could have gone further. And even had a pint, which I don't drink, just so Gareth was happy. And I think we had a pint of Guinness or whatever it was. And just to make it was his event in my eyes. And he's like, no, it was our event. No, I only run it for you. Like, cause he's one of my best mates, like, and he deserved that. And I'm so happy that he got the buckle, because that's what it was all about for him. And but they were an amazing bunch up there as well, and I would recommend that race, like Wild Horse, to anyone. What an amazing place. Absolutely amazing. But yeah, I'd like to go further. That would be my whole incentive, was to be, I'm not sure where, when, perhaps the idea you said about Bob getting to take money off all his mates and trying to run home from France or something, I have no idea, but that would be something fun. So I'm not sure, but also I'd like to do it for a reason. Yeah. I think the why is huge, and this is always my reason to finish. There's always, and that's what I was saying to Gareth in Race Across Scotland. It's got to be a why. Like, you give me the why is you want it, you want to finish, and I'll do it all day. Like, you mean, when the why is for charity, I'll do it all day. I'm quite happy to suffer for anyone else, like, you know. But to suffer for myself, like I say about my mind being weak, it wants out. It always wants out. And first step, it hates running. First mile was always my worst mile. I hate it. It sucks. Like, you mean. So yeah, there's got to be a why, and that would be for anyone else as well. Make the why a big why. Why do you want to do it? Why do you want to finish? The reasons, write your reasons down and make that why, like, you mean. And as long as you got a why, the why has got to be bigger than the reason why not. And you'll always finish the race. Yeah. So, and that's how it's always gone so far. I just strap it up, off you go. Like, it's just, as long as it's not broken, you can just wrap it up. It's fine. Trust me.
I like how a lot of what you're saying is about, like, your self-talk, like how you're approaching things, how you're, like, getting through these hard times. Is like, you've got to have that why. So you're telling yourself, this is more important than what I'm feeling. You're telling yourself, if I, like you said earlier, and I love this, if I finish it, I can go further. And it's all these stories you're telling yourself are so powerful. And I think you need to start looking at your own mental strength, because what you're doing is phenomenal. You might not see it as this, but, like, I'm inspired by talking to you and hearing of all your stories. And I think you need to start taking credit for your own mental strength, because mental strength to me isn't about, I feel good doing this. Mental strength to me is, I feel shit doing this. I want to give up, but I'm doing it anyway. And for me, you're showing, like, incredible mental strength.
Thank you very much. That it means a lot, to be honest, to hear that. There's quite a few people that do say similar things, and this is why I'm working on self, is that I wouldn't have said thank you very much going back probably even a couple of months. I would have said, no, I'm average, like Nathan mentioned, and I'm an average runner. I am below average. You put me in a running pack, a group, and like, even when I'm in Caerphilly 10K and whatever, like, there's people absolutely smashing me, like, you mean, but that's not why I'm there. I'm there, like, they're giving me some energy just because they're that much better than me, and it is hell, like, I mean, and I'd like to be in the forest out of the way as well. I don't want to be in people everywhere. London with all these people watching me, like, do you know what I mean? And it's like, and they were amazing. Cardiff half people watching. I just want to be out the way in the little woods and just, so yeah, that is a big part of it, is the mental side. And yeah, like I say, thank you very much for that. It means a lot, and I do appreciate all the support I've had off people, and that's the reason why I want to show people and promote it as well, is that my self-esteem isn't great, my self-confidence isn't great. I struggle with that, and it's something that I'm working on this journey, and I'd like other people to work on themselves if they're struggling too, and I want to show people a way, and this is why I do it. So when they're seeing me on the pavement, and shirt off, shoes off, whatever it may be, freezing cold, that's why I'm there. It's just so they can look and they either think, look at that idiot there, or they may think back later in the day, well, that guy was out and he was chucking it down the rain. He didn't even have a flipping shirt on, like, you mean, he's still having a go. So it's to try to inspire people and push people further. And yeah, I hate it. It absolutely sucks, honest to God. So running sucks, and cycling, swimming. So that may be something that I do look at, and I hope Bob and everyone else. There's a girl in our work, Sean, she's doing it, and like Chomp did it 5 times, and people like that, the Iron Man and things. And mate Jeff as well, another guy I was talking to the other day, he's fantastic, and I love listening to people about their journeys and how it influences their family, and there's so many people that is actually suffering, and we don't really know. And people say as men, but I don't think it is just as men. I know the suicide rate with men and things is very high, and but I think it affects everyone, especially with the lockdown. I think there's a lot of youngsters that's been affected mentally by not being able to talk. And social media is easy to dislike, take the mick out of someone and whatever else. But I think there's a whole lot of people that do actually struggle. They put on this, and I try to look quite positive to people and things. But I'm not really as positive as I try to give off. But I'm trying to increase that now, so I'm trying to be more positive and everything else. And we put on this happy front, and not always are we that happy. So this is my way of dealing with that. And yeah, I'll be in hell, and I'll stay there for 200 miles, whatever it takes. I'll just be there. And it's hard sometimes, isn't it? You know what it's like, and even on like the 50-mile or 50k walk, that's a hell of an achievement for being barefoot, because it's a long way. It's like walking to Cardiff and back, and Cardiff back, and then Cardiff again, and we don't really realise just how difficult that is. And the terrain is huge, isn't it? You can't have nice smooth pavements for all of that. At some point, that really would have sucked. Like it is a big factor, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, yes, it's a big thing, is the mental side of it, and I think that's what's probably led me to the barefoot, is the mental side. Is I can make, and jiu-jitsu as well, sorry, is kids, grannies, whatever, they'd wrap me up in jiu-jitsu in seconds, humble me. Barefoot, every step can be your last. I could go out the door and only do 2 steps, end up in agony. So it's humbling, and you can create the same pain, and it's really so running sucks. When you're barefoot, or if you're getting beat up by someone, well, you're not beat up, because they're all very, very nice in this controlled environment, and definitely I would promote it to increase self-confidence and to learn self-defense and things. But it does really make yourself ask those questions. When things happen so much faster, it sucks, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? Because you think, I don't really want to be in this environment as it is. And with barefoot, people are looking at you and they're like, flipping, look at that idiot there. They nearly always make comments. But I've actually had quite a few nice comments since I haven't been running, because I've been struggling to get around a bit. I've had quite a few people saying, oh, how come you're not running and everything else, which is nice, because that means people are noticing that you are trying to self-improve and you are trying to make things happen and things. So that's been quite nice, to be honest. But yes, it's a difficult one mentally, isn't it? It's a difficult world. If you look at it, it's very negative at the moment everywhere, and really it's not. We're all super safe compared to a lot of other people. We've got fantastic families or friends around us, communities, and we're all working to something, isn't we? And if you're not working to something, start working to something. Make it happen. Make a positive step today. If I can make another step after 232 miles, then you can make a step out of the door and go aim towards your first mile, innit? I mean, you can always go further. I'm not sure what the limit is. What's the guy in America, Harvey? He's the ultra runner, and he's vegan, and I think he won the race for the longest. It's like 300 or 400 miles they run, and absolutely insane. But he's his friend. He's like 104 or something. He still runs like 5 miles every couple of days now. He's running marathons up till he was 100 and things like that. I mean, there's some absolutely incredible people out there, and we should look at this and be sort of like take these people as positive influences going forward, and not just listen to all the bad stuff that's happening. Look and think, yeah, actually, we can make this a lot more positive. Like, I mean, so yeah, that's what I aim to achieve, and that's why mentally I hope I can show people that you can be positive. You just use the negative and the suck in a positive way to make a positive step forward, and be you, and that's what I always try to say to people. Like, and it is be you, like, because we all want to try to be someone else these days. I feel it's on Facebook or whatever you see, they're always trying to be this person, or they're talking a lot of smack and whatever. Like, and they're not really like that in a lot of the time in real life. So just be you, be authentic, innit? Do you, and then you can't go wrong. Like, innit? So yeah, that's what I hope to spread anyway. The message, and I'm not this super confident guy. I'm just me, like.
Something that I've been thinking a lot about recently is how, like, everything is internal. Like, when you really get down to it, like, if you're thinking about running marathons, say, and you've got a goal that you've imposed yourself, like, everything we do is completely self-imposed.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want to hit this goal of a 3-hour marathon, and it's like, if you hit that goal of a 3-hour marathon and you're like, oh, I'm going to feel great after that, but if I don't hit it, I'm not going to feel great. The only thing that's making you feel great is like you're getting this dopamine boost, but it's from yourself.
Yeah, self-inflicted.
And it's like, you could just look at being like, well, I didn't hit 3 hours, but I finished it and I'm proud of that. And you'll still get the same dopamine.
Yeah.
It's not like there's something special about that time.
No, I think it's reframing, isn't it? So, and I think that's how my mindset actually works, to be honest. I think that I sort of put a point on there, and often I think that I don't achieve because I've put that point or whatever it may be. And I think you're exactly right. I think that's where we need to sort of broaden it and look at the bigger picture. And that's the thing that whereas I'm able to finish all the time and I don't put a time on anything, and it's difficult to put a time on 100 or 200 anyway, isn't it? I mean, you think, yeah, might be today, might be tomorrow, but yeah, we kicked on the. So from the last part, going back to what you said then about these targets and things, we were aiming to be sort of late 70 hours, and then we thought it could be late 80s because it was really quite a tough course in Scotland. So we got to the last checkpoint, and I said, I feel quite good, like, I mean, should we hunt these ones down in front of us? He's like, what? So let's go. So we did a fast, like, last 20 odd miles, like, and we overtook 2 lads who just smashed us in the night, like, and Gareth's toes are all strapped up. But yeah, we aimed for that time from there, and we wasn't disappointed at the end because we were well within the time that he wanted to finish out. To me, like I say, it's not about time with me, but he wanted to get home because his wife was driving and everything else, and so there was a lot of factors involved in that. But yeah, I think if we just set a target at the start of finishing, we would have probably been a lot more sort of like happier on the line as well. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it was all about that, and I thought, when I didn't think that he wanted it initially, I thought we're just going to be on the way home now, like, because he doesn't want it and everything else. But in his mind, perhaps he did have a time involved and things, and that's what he was, because of the weather was so hot, perhaps we were falling back on that, which was making him feel a bit, well, this isn't going to go exactly the way I wanted it. Like, it was like a heat wave, honestly. It was just unbelievable. It must have been like high 20s in Scotland, and with I didn't take no sun cream and I was burnt. And I was like, we're in Scotland, like, they forecast rain, like. Honestly, it was absolutely insane. It was like being in Yosemite when I went to Yosemite a couple of years ago. It was so hot, and but so cold on top of the mountains and things. We had a storm come in, and we were the last ones to take the high route, and we couldn't stand up. It was just blowing us over every time we stood up. It was just absolutely scary. Like, it was a massive cliff drop. So I think maybe that, yeah, I think perhaps he'd set a time in mind, and then because we were falling behind because of the heat and everything, perhaps that's what sort of deflated him a little bit. So, but yeah, I think that's right. I think we should make a broader picture and look at the actual achievements. And something that I've tried to do as well is not just look at the bigger picture, is break that down into smaller sections. So say that you were aiming for that 3-hour marathon and you hit that for the first part of it, the first 10k, for the first half marathon, whatever, but you just didn't quite get it in. You just hit it for the first part of it. So you're not a million miles off hitting that overall. So there's still a massive benefit to take out of that. And then when you check your Strava and whatever, oh, well, I did hit the target all the way up to you. It was only in the last section. So I know how I should do that differently next time. Or it may have even been you had a group of runners in front of you who have been blocking you for the last. So it may not even have been your fault because it gets quite congested in it on the marathons, which I found out with the ironing board. So yeah, it's not always down to circumstances sometimes. So yeah, but I think we should make a bigger picture and just break it down into smaller sections. Even the couch to 5k, if you can run for 1k, it's fantastic. I mean, look at the broader picture. You've just made a big step towards that 5k, and yeah, it's only a bit like 100 miler. You've done fantastic over the 20 miles with a couch to 5k. You've done fantastic over the 1k. It's just smaller sections, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So it's all the same. It's only distance. distance is distance. It's just you're going to work your way up to wherever you want to be in it. So yeah, praise yourself for the small goals and then the small gains. I think you're definitely right on that.
Yeah, I've only come to that realization recently, or been thinking about it. Like, I'm still struggling to deal with that myself, because, like I told you, I ran the rhythm, and I was in a sling the whole time. But I had a set goal. I was like, I want to do 6 hours, and I didn't hit the 6 hours. And I know as soon as it hit the 6 hour mark, and I was like, there's no way I can finish because my goal's done. I was in a foul mood for the rest of the thing. I was just walking. I was like, there's no point running now. Like, I'm in pain. Like, I'm not going to hit 6 hours. There's no cut off. I'll just walk the next hour and a half. Finished it. And I've been struggling to feel that achievement, because I was like, everyone's like, wow, you just ran 50k in a sling. They're like, that's incredible. And I'm like, oh, but I didn't do it in my 6 hour goal. They're like, you set that 6 hour goal when you was fit and healthy, and now you're injured and you're still running and you've done it in a sling. Like, that's incredible. Most people won't ever bother trying to do an ultra, and you've done it while injured and pushed through. Like, how are you not happy? And I'm like, because I had that goal in my head. And that's all me, self-inflicted. I'm harsh on myself, and I've always been harsh on myself, and that's what's pushed me to work harder. But you also have to then recognize, like, I did do this amazing thing. Like, that was still an hour improvement on my other 50k PB. I've got an hour PB, and I'm disappointed with that, because it wasn't like a 2.5 hour PB. And it's just,
You're probably reflecting on your training there, though, when you in knowing before you had the injury, you were capable of doing that. So yeah, I think I quite like that voice in my head. Just disappointed in a sense, in that, like you say, it will spur you on next time. But yeah, I think you should be looking at the bigger picture. It's very difficult sometimes, isn't it? Because the negative voice is sometimes really good as well. So it'll work in your favor. It'll be kicking you and biting you and biting you and biting you, to the point that it'll make you better even next time. So you'll probably smash the 6 hour bite because you've been so upset about this time. But yeah, over long term, I think you will appreciate just how hard and what a fantastic achievement that is. It's just short term, because you haven't achieved your goal at the moment. Then that's why you're being so harsh on yourself. But I think you will. I often use our voice. I quite enjoy the voice, to be honest. It's evil. Like, it just gets in your mind. Oh, it's very powerful. And I know Nathan touched on it with the dragon when he said initially, he mentioned it, and spurred him on to do far greater things. And I think sometimes we need to use that. Sometimes we need. And failure is not necessarily failure. So although you didn't, like you say, you finished the event, so you didn't fail at anything. It's just your mind is saying, I failed because, and you're saying this little small 6 hour thing. That's why I don't run the time. I'm not interested. My heart rate's still been going on a nice beat, and it's still beating. I'm quite happy, like, do you know what I mean? So I stop my watch, and people are like, what time do you do? I don't know. So that's why I don't really look at that. It's the now is quite a good thing. So you're looking at the now, and so if even because you walked at the end, you probably did yourself a favor by not aggravating the injury anymore. So look at all the nice things. You probably got to meet a lot of people. You've probably seen some beautiful countryside, and you look at the positives out of that. There's probably a load of positive which you'll reflect on in future and think, wow, actually, it was a fantastic achievement, and this happened. If I'd run, I wouldn't have met so-and-so, so-and-so. I wouldn't have seen this bird in the tree. I wouldn't have seen this. So you probably actually seen a lot and done a lot more things by slowing it down and being sensible and looking after your injury. You're probably taken ages off the recovery time by not pushing it even further, because obviously we're all guilty of that. We push through injuries, and it enhances the recovery time. So yeah, it's an amazing achievement, and I think long term you will see that. It's just short term, you wanted that time. So yeah, I think it's a bigger picture again, isn't it? You should give yourself the credit, but also I would keep that voice in just.
But it's having the balance of the two. Using the darkness when you need it, when you're in that shit place and you're like, I want to give up, and it's like, that's what you would say because you're not good enough, and you're like, fuck you, I am good enough, and you're proving it to yourself, like, just fuck you, I'm better than you are. Completely internally. But then when you do finish the thing, it's like, okay, I did that. I can have solace in that, rather than the voice telling you, well, you're still not good enough, you still need to do more.
I think a journaling entry or something like that would be good for that, because then reflecting not on the injury and things, reflecting on just how you felt at the end and when you had the medal and the achievement of finishing. And just I did a couple of race reports sometimes when we've done sort of big events, and it's interesting when you actually go back to how you think and you feel. It's different sometimes, so you're remembering it, but you don't actually live the moment as such. You're just sort of going through the motions and things like so. When you're actually writing it down, then you think, oh yeah, I do remember that, and I remember this. So yeah, it's a difficult one, like you say, because that was your target. But this is why I don't set targets in that site. It's always about the finish, and it's an amazing achievement. You have got to give yourself. I would actually give someone more credit, just me being me, for finishing with your arm like you are in a sling. I wouldn't even care about. I wouldn't even know what you're on about with the 6 hours. I wouldn't be interested. It'd be like, yeah, whatever. And then the people that say marathons, oh, I run 3 hour marathon. I don't really care. Like, do you finish? So that's me, but that's not everyone. Do you know what I mean? So everyone's got a different opinion. Your thing was about this, and so you can go next time when it comes round, or even when you're fit now, you could do the course again. Maybe hide some snacks or whatever along the way, or call in and get some food, and I'm sure you'd break the 6 hours. So, and that would just silence that doubt in your mind, wouldn't it? Because obviously that's the doubt because you wanted to do it, like, do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's a crazy achievement, and when you look back at races, there's not many other races where you have adversity like that. I love the adversity side. Like, I mean, the adversity is why I'm there. Like, the more adversity I have, the better the fun is, really. It's hell. It's absolute hell, but to cope with all these different things, to cope with the pain of your shoulder, and like you said, it's giving you problems now with the IT band and everything else, to cope with all that and still be able to process it all, calm the mind down and think logically and think of a way out, is amazing. That's what it's all about for me. Like, and that's why I do the events, is because when it comes to life and the job sucking, I don't know, whatever it may be, you're in a situation that's really, really hard and whatever, think a way out of it. It's got to, and that's why I go back to it. Like, and that's the only reason I do it, is for those exact times. So that would be perfect for me. Race across Scotland with stress fracture, perfect. That's exactly where I want to be, really, because I got to think a way out of it. It's hell. You just got to find out to deal with the hell of not enjoying the actual running and the event, to actually dealing with pain, to doing this and do that, and then it'll be inspiring long term. And I'm sure it probably inspired you on the day, because so what did you walk the last?
Must have been like a good 10k.
Oh, that's nothing. You did the entire event, so you did 44k running, and then just so. That's a wind down. It's good in the math theory and things to cool down. So that's perfect. You had a cool down at the end. That's all it is. Like, so what was the time you got in the end?
7:31.
So it's still a really good time, isn't it? It's a tough course, and especially if your arm, because you can't do the arm movements, is a lot of hills. So up, down, you're restricted. That is quite. I'm not surprised that you've got carrying another thing, because you haven't got the actual movements you need, and whether you use poles or not. Really, that is a tough climbing course, isn't it, to be messing around really with one arm in a sling. Like, so hats off to you, man. But next time, the lesson would be, probably don't do it, is to rest it and speak to Reece. Say, can I defer it till next year because I got my arm in a sling, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, take all the positives. I take my hat off to you, man. I love that, because it's just adversity, like, and it just, I think a lot of people would be more inspired by that, especially people that may have an arm in a sling permanently or something and think they can't do it. They actually can. Yeah. And I would take more from that you would inspire people to think they can't do it because of a restriction of some sort, and it's showing them a way. So that's what I would take from that. I wouldn't even, who cares about time, like, you know what I mean? Anytime I'm all that bothered about time is when I'm finishing work and I want to get out of there, like, you know what I mean? But time is irrelevant. It's just about being there, isn't it? So yeah, use it as fuel, man. And the same to anyone else that's had disappointments with runs and things. Just, it's all about fuel, isn't it? Just using it to motivate you, go further, try to inspire others. And I'm sure you will inspire many people who hear that, because they know now that they can attempt these things, whereas before possibly they wouldn't. So yeah, it's great, man. Fair play to you.
Cheers. Well, the question I ask everyone at the end of the podcast is, if you can set a challenge for the listeners for the week, what would it be?
Well, there's probably a couple of challenges you could do. I would probably say barefoot is, the grounding is a big thing for me at the minute, especially in that so many people just are disconnected with life, the earth, and just do not feel the power within themselves, really. So it's about being in the present and I find grounding really does help with that. And the earth at the moment seems very warm, so you go out. I know it's raining a lot today, but even with the rain, when I went around earlier, there was still patches in the ground which felt very warm. So even if you go out in the garden on the grass and you stand on the grass and just walk around, put the washing out on the grass, whatever you do, even if you go out and have a cup of coffee, take some breaths, work on your breath, stand on the grass, grounding, and just really appreciate just how lucky we are. It's a beautiful world, and I don't think enough of us really appreciate that. I know I'm guilty of it, and when I'm in hell, I'm not always appreciating it or appreciative of just how lucky I am by being able to do the running and whatever it may be. I don't always appreciate just how lucky we are, and I think we all should appreciate that. We're very lucky. Like you did the event with your arm in a sling, most people wouldn't even attempt to do that. So I think we should appreciate how lucky we are to be able to do it, and you've shown the way for many others to do it. So yeah, get out, do a bit of grounding. If you're not happy to do that, do some breath work. Wim Hof, there's an app, there's got some free breath work on there. There's many other people do it, like Gary Breckler, like I mentioned. Tony Riddle is fantastic for anything to do with barefoot, and he's got a thing on YouTube about how showing you how to step and to land and things. So yeah, really explore that natural side of things.
In South Wales as well, we've got Chris Davies. He came on the podcast recently. He's like a big breathwork guy. So
Ever? I'll have to have a look. I'll have to get me to send me the link, because breath work is something that I've really been trying to work on lately, and it does really, really help you. It anxiety, stress, whatever it may be, it does really bring you back down, helps you compose yourself, and it makes you see the world in a better place. It's just absolutely brilliant. I try it when I'm in the cold plunge, when I'm out running, and really been trying to work on breath work through the mouth, but also through the nose. So I'll definitely have a look at that. That's fantastic. Yeah, so please send me the link for that.
yeah, will do.
Awesome.
Nice one. Thanks for coming on, and good luck with whatever you end up doing, whether it's a 250 or a 50-mile barefoot.
Yeah, so, well, if it's a 50-mile barefoot, you're coming along. But anyone's welcome, and yeah, if you can do anything to help a charity, or if you can think of ideas, that would be fantastic to move forward. Great. Thank you very much for having me.